there, welcome to the Silverbird Selection game review, and this is the penultimate review of my series. Today I'm looking at a Silver Range release of Prodigy. This is a re-release of a game originally released by Electric Dreams in 1986, so I'm presuming this came out in 1987, although I'm not 100% sure on that. So this is not my copy of the game. Obviously I haven't got a copy yet. If you've seen my recent collection update video, you'll know that I borrowed this from Sean from Retro Games Revived. I believe he paid about £8 for this game. It is very rare. I've only seen one other copy on eBay, and that was in a bundle which went for a silly amount of money that I wasn't willing to pay. So I'm still on the lookout for the game myself, but in the meantime Sean's lent me this, so let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the packaging then, and here's the cover. As you can see, typical Silver Range release. Pretty nice logo there saying Prodigy on it, and actually some nice artwork as well, with what looks like a baby in a spacesuit being chased by some kind of alien. So I don't know, we'll find out soon enough. There's the spine and it says Prodigy on it, and on the back cover the usual pair of screenshots which look very much like an isometric arcade adventure style game, which, as you'll know if you've seen many of my previous videos, I'm not a big fan of, so we'll see how this turns out. I'm probably not going to enjoy it, but there you go. And it says Baby Bedlam in this blockbusting breakout bid. Some lovely alliteration, as we've seen on the back of many of these Silver Range covers. So moving inside, we've got the usual list of exciting Silver Range titles, and on that list I can see Special Agent, which pretty much confirms that this would have been a 1987 release, because I know that game came out in 1987. So moving inside, we've got the mail order section, which we'll skip over as we've seen many times before, and it says Prodigy, copyright 1986, Electric Dreams. The machine sorcerer Wardlock has created organic life hitherto unknown in Techland, although his laboratories are also full of some of his less successful prototypes. His latest creations, Solo the Synthiman and the new arrival Nejo, are the ultimate in organic intelligence, but like the humanoids they resemble, they desperately want their freedom. Help Solo the Synthiman protect Nejo and escape from the laboratories before Wardlock begins his cloning experiments on them. Wow, okay then. Moving on, loading instructions are as usual, and then the gameplay instructions, we've got some controls, and it says there are 4 areas of the laboratory: Ice Zone, Veggie Zone, Tech Zone and Fire Zone. To travel between the areas, the teleport system is used. You're looking at the labs through one of Wardlock's monitors. There are 4 security system indicators. You've got indicators showing oxygen, Nejo's food and Nejo's nappy. I guess Nejo's the baby on the front cover then. Blah blah blah. Let's move on. Let's see if there's anything else there. To replenish your oxygen supply, you must go to the ice zone and pop oxygen balloons. To feed Nejo, you must find the Chef McDonald and use the bubble gun. To disengage Wardlock's security system, you must collect security units and take them to computer control center. Oh my god, this sounds complicated. I'm already not looking forward to playing this game. But there you go, that's the instructions. So the game is loading, and here's the loading screen, and well, what can you say? It says Electric Dreams presents the Prodigy by MD Software, does that say? I'm not quite sure. And graphics by G Thornton, and there's kind of, I don't know, like a control panel all around it with some boxes in the corners and some kind of stuff at the top. I think this is basically the game screen, like the screen you'd see in game, and you'd have the actual game playing in that box in the middle. So bit unimaginative in that respect, although as a loading screen in of itself it's not too bad. Okay, so the game's loaded up, and as you can see the title screen is exactly the same as the loading screen. It makes me wonder whether someone just grabbed the title screen to put in as a loading screen for the Firebird version. I've got no idea whether that's the case or not. So yeah, it starts up the title screen. There's only one option, which is to press F1 to start, which you can't see on the screen right now because it's playing this music. When I press space, the music will go off and you'll never hear it again. So the music, it's okay, it's not the worst SID tune I've ever heard, it's also not the best. Some bits of it sound quite good and some bits of it just sound a bit of a mess, to be honest. This bit sounds alright, the bit before it not so much. So I'm not going to carry on listening to it too much longer because there's nothing else to say about the title screen. So I think that'll do it, so I'll press space to actually start the game now. and you can see, as I said, it says press F1 to start. That's your only option. There's no high scores, there's no scores at all as far as I can tell. There's not really any credits other than what you can see on the screen there, and basically it's all a bit sort of unremarkable, I think it's fair to say. So without further ado, let's get on and play the game. So as you can see, the game takes place in this tiny little window in the middle of the screen. You're the grey character in the space suit, and you're followed around by the little baby there behind you, who has also got a space helmet on, I guess, based on the front cover at least. So this is isometric perspective, which I generally hate, and it's an adventure game. Isometric adventure games, I don't really like them, generally speaking. There's a couple of good ones, the likes of the Ultimate games and also Head Over Heels are all decent games, and most games that try to copy that format are generally pretty abysmal. Isometric perspective I'm not generally a fan of, as you'll know if you've seen any of my previous videos. So the first thing to do in this game is rotate the joystick 45 degrees so that when you point the joystick in the way you want to travel, it corresponds with the joystick controls. So I'm just going to do that first. So now you push right to go down, you push left to go up, you push up to go up right if you like, and down to go down left. So that's why I've rotated the controls slightly, just to make that easier. And the fire button fires some kind of bubble gun or something, I think it said it was in the instructions. So the idea of this game is you've got to find 4 security pod things, which are the things denoted in the corners of the screen, and then you've got to take them somewhere in this complex, and then I don't know what happens after that. Basically you win the game probably. So there's various things to destroy. I think they're called blobs and globs in the instructions. So let's try and get out of this room and see what we can find, I suppose. The play area is just tiny, you cannot see anything around you at all. It's not good. You're going to get the fact that I've got pretty bad vibes about this game right from the start, to be honest. So as you can see, the first problem is this baby's supposed to follow you, but it hasn't, because it's got stuck in this room. So I'll just go back and see if I can get it to follow me out. It just kind of gets stuck on the edge of the room there. I don't really know how you're supposed to get it to come out, but you know, there it is. Because part of the gameplay as well is to try and look after this baby. So you've got some stuff at the top of the screen there. On the left is your oxygen level, and when that runs out you die. You've also got milk, which you have to feed the baby with, and also the baby's nappy, which is kind of denoting how dirty the baby is, and you've got to find showers to clean the baby. But as you can see, the first real problem is the baby doesn't follow you very consistently. It does sometimes, but not always. It's in the doorway there, I'm right close to it, and it just won't follow me out of this room. So I'm just going to leave it there. I don't really care, to be honest. That makes me sound a bit thoughtless, but I don't care. Yeah, so these enemies, I don't know if they're doing you any damage or not. They just kind of mill around. They're quite nicely drawn. Graphics generally are a bit bland, blocky. Again, this is another reason why I don't like isometric games on the Commodore 64, because they really suit that kind of high-res definition that you get on the Spectrum and the BBC Micro much better than the lower resolution of the Commodore 64. So as I've entered this area here, I've turned blue, and this is one of 4 zones. Can't remember what they all were, but there's definitely an ice and a fire zone, and this is the ice zone. Now, what is an interesting touch here is that the floor's slippy in the ice zone, which kind of makes sense. So there's some enemies around, and I've got to try and find something. There's also these little things running around that say Oxy and Gen on. Now you have to shoot those to up your air supply. Get out of the way. Oh dear. You have to shoot the Oxy first and then the Gen afterwards. So I'm going to try and do that now. There is like a status bar at the bottom which will give you messages very sporadically, telling you what zone you're going into and whether you're in the right sort of place to deposit the security pod things would be useful. I don't know if that happens or not, we'll find out. Certainly didn't tell me I was entering the ice zone when I entered the ice zone. So anyway, yeah, here we go. Here's the first of the security pods, and the first problem you've got is it's very hard to get into this room because every time you try and get close to it you slide past it, as you can see, I can't, well, you probably can't tell, but I can't stop in front of this room. I always end up somewhere else. So yeah, basically I've got to go sort of, oh god, I'm stuck between these things which don't seem to be doing any damage to me. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, what I've got to try and do is get to a place where I'm in line with, oh for heaven's sake, with the door, and then I can go into this room. But yeah, it's not that easy. Am I in line now? I am. There we go. It was easier than I thought it was going to be. So now I press F5 to pick up something, and as you can see, I'm now holding security unit number 2. The number 2 is flashing on the left hand side there. So I've got to take this somewhere. Let's just try and shoot one of these oxygen things while I'm here. Oh dear. Yeah, this is again isometric. Just why? It's just would be so much more easy to play and navigate through as a straightforward 2D maze. But yeah, here's all these oxys and gens. So if I can shoot an oxy, there you go. It's told me I've shot an oxy, so now I've got to find a gen to shoot as well, and that would then up my, if what's effectively health. There's a gen. There we go. It did it, and I guess that upped the oxygen, but I didn't really notice. So let's move on through this annoying slippy landscape and try and find the place where I've got to deposit this security thing that I've picked up. So the next problem is getting out of this area. So I'm just going to navigate around and see if there's another way out. The layout of the maze is, you know, unnecessarily convoluted really, and just gets annoying because of you bumping into things all the time. As always, it's hard to see in certain areas because you're obscured by things in the foreground, or you've gone underneath things that are above you. Another flaw of the whole isometric perspective. So yeah, it looks like I can't get out of this area, so I'm trying to shoot a gen and I can't because it says I've got to pop an oxy first. So let's see if I can get out. I've got to get around this corner somehow, so I guess I just keep going until I hit something and then go back this way. I mean, this is just unnecessarily difficult. All I'm trying to do is get out of a bloody room, for God's sake. There we go. Alright, I finally got out. Here we go. So I'm out of the ice zone and I get to walk normally again. The animation of your character, by the way, very limited. It's just a few steps. I don't know where I'm supposed to go with this now. That's my next problem, because it doesn't have any kind of indication, as far as I can tell, of which zone you're going into. So there was some kind of central thing. I'm just going to check the instructions to say what it said. It was called a lock fire. When you've collected the keys, they must be placed within lock fire. What is lock fire? How am I supposed to know what that is? There's no indication of what that is. Is that a place? Is that an object that I've got to put them into? I've no idea. Anyway, so I'm just going to carry on manoeuvring around and see what else I can find. This is obviously one of the other areas. We've got an earth zone, or I think it's called the veggie zone. I don't know how you get into it. As you can see, the colour's changed again. No, can't get in around there, so it must be somewhere else. Mention the graphics, pretty average really, chunky. The scrolling's jerky, and as I said, the size of the play area is just ludicrously small. Okay, so I'm now in the veggie zone, or whatever that is. More creatures that don't really seem to be doing me any damage as far as I can tell. Seems a bit superfluous. So I'm going to try and find my way around here, but this is not the place to drop that security thing. So ultimately, if I find something else interesting, I'm going to have to drop the security unit. I'm now stuck for some reason. I can't move. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I'll just carry on wandering around, I suppose. It's really quite dull. The object of the game is not entirely clear. Now this, I believe, is a teleporter. There we go. So I've teleported somewhere else now, and it's dropped the security unit, and I'm now in another area and I don't know where I am, and then I got hit by something and I've teleported again to somewhere else. It's just really weird and not much fun to play at all. It's just not particularly well programmed, very obscure as to what it is you're supposed to be doing. Some things seem to injure you and some don't. No real indication as to why. Yeah, it's just quite poor. The sound as well is limited to a couple of little bleeps and sort of thumping noises, if you like, when you hit things. I mean, look at this here. What were they thinking here? Where am I? I'm stuck underneath a ceiling. I can't even find it. There I am. So yeah, it's like, why put that ceiling there on an isometric game when you can't see what's underneath it? Am I stuck against a wall there? I've got no idea because I can't see. It's just really annoying. So health wise, or energy wise, oxygen wise, I get the right words eventually, I'm actually still doing pretty well, which just depresses me a bit, to be honest, because it means I'll be playing the game for a lot longer than I'd like to. Yeah, it's poor in almost every respect. I'm trying to think of something good about it. A couple of little, there we go, got hit by something and now I've been sent all the way back to the beginning. Oh, I mean, why? It's just so annoying. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of something good about it, as I was saying, and I'm really struggling. The animation of some of the characters is alright, I suppose. Why is this beeping now? Something's beeping at me. I've no idea why. Is it because the baby's running out of milk? I haven't even seen any milk anywhere. And the nappy, I think that's still okay. I haven't really thought about that side of things, but since the baby won't follow me, it's a bit difficult to take it anywhere. And yeah, I've not seen anything other than that security unit to pick up yet, so it's all very tedious and a bit confusing. The instructions didn't really make it that clear what I'm supposed to be doing or how I'm supposed to get to the places I want to get. Maybe if it had a map screen or something like that, it would be better, but it hasn't, because frankly it's a bit bloody awful. So let's see if I can get into another area and find anything different. This, I believe, will be the fire area, if I can find the entrance. It's quite a large area to explore, but it's all very boring. There's all a lot of blocks and pillars to negotiate around. Can I pick that thing up? Nope. It's F5 to pick things up, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Oh, something's got me again, and I'm all the way back to the beginning again. I mean, really, come on. It's just awful. Yeah, so now suddenly the things that weren't damaging me before now damage me, it seems. It's really random. So I mean, I'll carry on playing it till the end, but I don't think I've got anything else to say about it. There we go, got hit again and got sent back. It's just a really, frankly, abysmal game. Yeah, so I can't quite believe this was originally a $9.99 full price game. It's just, I don't know, where was the playtesting? It's just so boring. So back at this fire area, let's see if I can make any progress compared to the previous attempt. I can't even get through. No, there we go. I've been sent. Oh, well, I'm not sure what happened there, but I've been sent into a teleporter, and I'm back at the ice world now. So let's just use this teleporter to go somewhere else, I suppose. Okay, now I'm, who knows? I'm somewhere that I've not been before based on the colours, but I still don't know where I am. I'm in the middle. No, that's the ice world again there, the ice zone. Okay, yes, this is the veggie zone again. There's just nothing to do. There's nothing to pick up. There's nothing to interact with. There's no useful messages given on that status bar thing at the bottom. It's just really, really boring. There's some diamonds that I've gone past. Oh, what's this? Here's a computer. Can I do anything with that? No, because I got hit by something and sent all the way somewhere to another teleporter, and I'm now stuck. I can't move in any direction. What an, oh, there we go, back into the teleporter again, and now I'm somewhere else again, and oh, it's just, it's a right mess, isn't it? It's an unplayable mess of a game. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the review scores right now, because frankly I'm bored with the game and I don't want to spend any more time
on it, then I have to. So I'll do the review scores now, and then when I get game over I can just switch the thing off and never play it again. So let's start with the packaging. Nice cover art, that was no problems with that, that's quite good, but the instructions are very confusing. I feel like the instructions were probably a lot more detailed in the original release, and they've tried to compact them down to fit in the smaller cassette size inlay, and as a result there's some important information missing from the instructions. Oh look, here's a bucket, I may as well pick that up because oh no, it's gone, I've been thrown somewhere else again. It's nearly game over. Let's just carry on with the review scores. You know, I've been bounced around all over the place again. So yeah, packaging, as I was saying, cover nice, instructions not good. I'm going to give it a 6. Presentation, well, you've got a loading screen, you've got some title screen music. The in-game presentation, oh, it's just game over by the way, mission failed. The in-game presentation is okay in terms of you've got various readouts and a bit of information on that status bar, but it's all very average, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Graphics, again, very average. There's some nice animation, there's actually some nicely drawn enemy sprites, but the main character sprite is pretty poor. The background sort of items are also a bit boring as well, so I'm going to give the graphics a 5 as well. And the sound, well, it's got some music on that intro title screen, but you only ever hear that when the game first loads, and then all it is apart from that is a few bleeps and thunking sounds and firing the bubble gun noises and things like that, so nothing very remarkable. I'm going to give the sound a 4. And finally, the playability, well, it's just a complete mess, isn't it? It's borderline unplayable. You wander around, sometimes you get thrown back to the start by hitting certain enemies. The objective of the game is not very clear. Navigating around this tiny little screen is also really difficult, really frustrating. The little baby that you're supposed to look after doesn't follow you around half the time. It's just a horrible mess, and for that reason I'm going to give it a playability score of 2. I never want to play it again. That gives it a total score of 4.2, and obviously it goes without saying that it wasn't worth the $1.99 asking price. It wasn't worth the $9.99 asking price either for the original game. I would have been devastated if I bought this game and paid £10 for it back in 1986 or whenever it was originally released. It's bloody awful. So there you go, that's my thoughts on the Prodigy. It's absolute crap. And I don't say that very often. I can usually say something about a game that's redeeming, but there's no qualities about this game whatsoever that are redeeming at all. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. If you've got any thoughts about it, then let me know in the video comments, and I'll be back with what will be the final review of the Silverbird Selection next time around. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.